Hey everyone, this is Yuna, and today we're going to work on my newest sculpt, Haya. This is the child version of my adult sculpt, Saya, which tells a character from my book, Fox Sister, which is still being written. I printed an initial version to get an idea how she was going to look, and went through the usual process of washing, removing supports, and curing. Here she is. I forgot to record her face up this time. Oops! Here's how she looks compared to the old sculpt of the character, the Coco's doll Natsuhiko. She turned out adorable, but I had a few adjustments that I wanted to make. So back to work! After adjusting the file, I printed her again. This time, her head back failed, but that's okay, I'll redo it later. In the meantime, while that prints again, I'll work on the faceplate. I wash her, remove her supports, and cure her and the wrong head back to check the fit. And here she is compared to 1.0. Doesn't look too different, but I promise you she is. This time, I remembered to record her face up, so let's get to it. After 2 rounds of sealing with MTN sealant, which is what I have on hand right now, I started with a base layer of pastels. I like using pink on the cheeks and forehead for this type of face-up, though I'll use more colors and more complex ones. I try to keep the pink more concentrated on her cheeks than her forehead, so she doesn't look like she hit her head somewhere. Then I go in with red for the lips, and I severely misjudged which brush to use for the stamp, as it got the area around her lips dirty with pastels as well. You'll see me struggle with cleaning it for quite a while. Spoiler alert, I do get it mostly clean, but it won't be easy. Clean her, I use a kneaded eraser and a detail eraser, with a brush to wipe off excess and another one to add a bit of peachy color to try and hide it a bit, which doesn't work. I go about this for a while before I feel ready to move on. Then I sketch out her eyebrows with pastels. Because I want a gray base for them, I start with a very light gray and move on to darker shades as I go. I would normally shape the brows with the erasers, but I got them in a shape I liked the first time around. Look at me cleaning her mouth again. Let's just skip ahead. Now I'm going to use gouache for her ears and other details. First I'm going to start with the ears, which I could have done at the start of the face up as well, but I got distracted by my eagerness to get her done. I give them just 1 round of white because the ears are textured and they take on the paint well enough. I then hold her awkwardly until she dries, and I clean the brush in the meantime. Once she's dry, I skillfully go off frame to paint a thin line between her lips with brown gouache. But then I remember I'm recording in time to catch some of that. I add a bit extra on the corners for that cute smile. Then I go off frame again to do her eyeliner, because I keep forgetting I'm recording. Because she's a child and won't wear makeup yet, I'm using the same brown for her eyes. Here's me making a mistake and fixing it with water and a paper towel. I do both eyes and check for symmetry. Once I'm happy, it's time to move on to her eyelashes. I use a very thin brush for this, the same I used on her mouth, and try to find a balance between pigmented and flowing wash to make thin lines. I'm very pleased with these. I think they're my best yet. I repeat on the other side, and then I add a little bit of wash to her nostrils, watering it down and removing the excess with the paper towel so that the color isn't too strong. Back to the white, using the same brush, I start working on her eyebrows. At first I struggle a bit with the gouache not flowing enough, so I try to wet it a bit more and end up with too thick of a brow by switching brushes. I go back to my thin brush and remove that brow with water and, you guessed it, the paper towel. Then I redo it thinner and I like it much more. So I repeat that on the other side, and by then I feel she needs more blushing, so I bring out the pastels again. I add more pink to her cheeks and we're nearly done. I grab my white pearl powder and apply a bit to all of her face. What can I say? I love sparkles. I seal her twice, and then it's time for gloss. I use an enamel gloss from Resin Dolls, and I apply it to her lips and a tiny hint in her eyes. And here she is. She's so cute. I put her on the body with the wrong head back just to check, and she looks great. By now, the new one has finished printing, so once I process it, it's time for a final touch. I prepared some UV resin with chameleon powder and I applied it to my logo. I cure it, and then I decide that it's not blue enough. So I add 1 drop of blue pigment and I do a new layer. Now she's done. Here's my little girl. What do you think? That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!